Okay, so in the last lecture, uh, so before that, good afternoon to everybody. So in the last lecture, we started the second section of operating system, and from the second section, we started the fifth chapter. Name of the chapter is deadlock, and under that, we discussed about the concept of system model. So the basic requirements to understand the concept of deadlock, and then we discussed about the deadlock characterization. Actually, under deadlock characterization, again, one point we discussed, that is the necessary conditions for deadlock. So still we have to discuss a few more points, and then we'll go for the methods for handling deadlock. So we'll take the help of my notes. So under deadlock system model we discussed, and we were talking about deadlock characterization. Some of the basic characteristics are there with respect to deadlock, and that is nothing but necessary conditions for deadlock we discussed. So total four conditions are there: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait, right? And then I said that we'll discuss the remaining part in the next lecture. So we'll start once again the point deadlock characterization. Under characterization, we are discussing about 2 points. One is the necessary conditions for deadlock, which we discussed in the last lecture, and second one is nothing but the resource allocation graph. So actually, we'll discuss resource allocation graph right now. All of you listen carefully to understand the concept of resource allocation graph. So whatever deadlock we discussed, it is the state in the system. So this is the state of the system where the processes are going in infinite waiting state. So how to represent that state? So the deadlock state is represented graphically with the help of resource allocation graph. Deadlock state. What is resource allocation graph? So it is the pictorial representation of deadlock situation. It is the graphical representation of deadlock situation. And how to draw this resource allocation graph? So some rules are there, we'll see. So this is the sample of resource allocation graph, where if you are able to observe, processes are shown with the help of circle. So circle, it is the notation used to represent the processes in case of deadlock situation in the form of resource allocation graph. Next, resources are represented either square or rectangle. So when to use square? So if only one resource is there, if only one instance of that resource is there, so we are using rectangle. And if there are more than one instances, so in that case we are using if only one resource instance is there, so in that case we are using square. And if there are more than one instances of that resource type, so in that case we are using rectangle. So if you observe in this diagram, so I hope you are listening to me. Yes, are you listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you are observing in this diagram, so I shown R1 and R2 with the help of square. I shown R1 and R2 with the help of square, and inside that square I have shown one dot, right? So that dot represents instances. So how many instances of R1 are there? Only one instance is there. How many instances of R2 are there? Only one is there. So that's why if the number of instances with respect to resource type are one, so in that case we are able to use we are able to represent the resources with the help of square. Okay, so R1 and R2, they are treated over here as a resource type. So resource type R1, and how many instances are there? Only one instance, and that instance is shown with the help of dot, which is shown inside the square. So if only one instance is there, so you can use the square. If there are more than one instances, for example, if you observe R2 and R4, so R2, it is the resource type, and how many instances of R2 are there? Two instances. So that's why I shown two dots inside that rectangle. So here we are taking the help of rectangle. So when the number of instances are more than one, so in that case we need to take the help of rectangle. And if only one instance is there, you have to use the square, right? So instances are represented with the help of dots. So once again I will repeat the example. For example, if we take the resource type R2, so R2, assume that number of printers. So R2 is nothing but the printer. So resource type is printer. And how many printers are available in my system? 2 printers are available. So that's why I have represented R2 with the help of 2 dots in rectangle. So if number of instances are more, you have to use the rectangle to denote the resources. And if the number of instances are only 1, so in that case you have to use the square, right? Further, again, 2 types of edges we used. One is called as a request edge and another is called as a allocation edge, assignment edge, sorry, request edge and assignment edge. So request edge, so if you observe the edge, if you observe the arrow going from P1 to R1, so P1 is requesting R1, so this arrow indicates request edge. So P1 want R1, so this is the request edge. And if you observe the arrow going from R1 to P2, so the arrow direction is towards process P2. So this arrow indicates assignment edge. That is R1 is already allocated to P2. So this is called as a assignment edge. So right, like that, a number of edges we have shown inside this resource allocation graph. So this is the example of resource allocation graph. So I said that the resource allocation graph shown in figure depicts following situation. The set PRE. So P stands for number of processes, R stands for number of resources, E stands for number of edges. So system consists of set of processes P, and how many processes are there? P1, P2, P3. So actually here with respect to this resource allocation graph, so this is this situation or this deadlock situation is represented or it is described like this. So set of resources, set of processes P is equal to P1, P2, P3. So 3 processes are there in the system. Resources, 4 resources are there, R1, R2 and R1, R2, R3 and R4. So this is the set of resource R, and the number of edges E is equal to P1 requesting R1. So I'm reading, listen carefully to understand the concept. I'm reading first edge inside this E. E is set of edges. So how many types of edges are there? 2 types of edges are there. One is called as a request edge and another is called as a assignment edge. So if you observe the first element of E, so that is P1 requesting R1. So the arrow is towards R1. So that's why it is called as P1. It is read as P1 requesting R1. P2 requesting R3. Next, R1 allocated to P2, R2 allocated to P2, R2 allocated to, just a minute, R2 as 2 instances are there. So one instance is allocated to P2 and another is allocated to P1. So the same thing is given over here also. So R2 allocated to P2, R2 allocated to P1 and R3 allocated to P3, R3 allocated to P3. So if you observe this diagram, so P1 requesting R1, P2 requesting R2, R1 assigned to P2, R2 assigned to P3, and again R2 assigned to P1 as well as R2 assigned to P2. So this is the description, and from this description, so this is the description, and from this description we have drawn this graph. Okay, so like resource instances. So how many instances are given with respect to R1, R2, R3, R4? So one instance of resource type R1. So how many instances are there? R1 is having only one instance, R2 is also having one instance. And again, sorry, in the diagram, so this the below one is the R3, right? So 2 instances of resource type R2, 1 instance of resource type R3. Okay. So at the upper side, I have written R1 and R2. That is not R2, it is R3. Is it right? It is R3. So assume like that. And below at lower side, I shown 2 more resources, that is R2 and R4. So R2 is having 2 instances and R4 is having 3 instances. Okay, so the instances of R4 are not allocated to anybody. So it is shown like that only in the system. So 1 instance of resource type R1, 2 instances of resource type R2, 1 instance of resource type R3, and 3 instances of resource type R4. So this is the description of the situation or the system. So process states process P1 is holding an instance of resource type R2 and waiting for an instance of resource type R1, right? So P1 is holding one instance of R2 and requesting for the instance of R1. Okay, so without that it is unable to complete. So like that it is described in the same fashion. Process P2 is holding an instance of R1 and instance of R2. It is requesting for instance of R2 and is waiting for an instance of R3. So process P3 is holding an instance of R3. So P3 is holding instance of R3 and P3 is not requesting for any additional resources. So like that, this is the description of resource allocation graph. So given the definition of resource allocation graph, it can be shown that if the graph contains cycles, then no process in the system is deadlocked. If the graph does contain a cycle, then a deadlock may exist. So the important property of this resource allocation graph is that जर रिसोर्स allocation ग्राफ मध्ये जर सायकल फॉर्म होत असेल, जर रिसोर्स allocation ग्राफ मध्ये सायकल फॉर्म होत असेल, so it indicates that it may have deadlock, and the cycle form झालेली नसेल, so it indicates that it is not in the deadlock state. So from that we are identifying whether the system is in a deadlock state or not. So hope you are understanding, you are listening to me. Yes students. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I discussed the concept of resource allocation graph. So what is resource allocation graph? It is the pictorial representation of deadlock situation, right? So we are trying to represent the system in the form of diagram, in the form of graph, and from that graph we are identifying whether the system may be there in the deadlock or may not be there in the deadlock, and how to analyze it. So first of all, we have to describe the system. So this is the example, sample example. System consists of three sets: PRE. P is equal to P1, P2, P3. R is equal to R1, R2, R3, R4. E is equal to P1. So these are number of ages, request ages and assignment ages. Further, it is also said that how many number of instances are given. That is also given: one instance of R1, two instances of R2, one instance of resource type R3, and three instances of resource type R4 are given. Further, description of these ages is also done over here, and from this data, we have to draw the resource allocation graph. So this is the sample example of resource allocation graph. And further it is said that one important property of this resource allocation graph is that if the graph contains cycle, then no process in the system is deadlocked. If the graph does contain a cycle, then deadlock may exist. जर ग्राफ मध्ये सायकल असेल तर तिथे डेडलॉक असू शकतो किंवा नसू शकतो. Okay, so may exist. The line is may or may not. So we'll see again some examples. Okay, so if you observe this graph, so this is the resource allocation graph with a deadlock. Okay, this is the resource allocation graph with a deadlock. We'll see how deadlock occurs. And this is another example. This is the resource allocation graph with a cycle but no deadlock. Okay, so here in this graph, cycle is there. So by cycle, if you observe this graph, so P1 is requesting R1, R1 is allocated to P2, P3, P3 is requesting to R2, and R2 is allocated to P1. So this is called as a cycle. जर तुम्ही arrow direction बघितलात तर P1 चा arrow आहे, P1 is going towards R1, R1 is going towards P3, P3 is going towards R2, R2 is going towards P1. So this is treated as a cycle. म्हणजे ह्या ग्राफ मध्ये सायकल डिटेक्ट झालेली आहे, but there is no deadlock. So what is the property of this resource allocation graph? If there is cycle, there may or may not be the deadlock. If there is cycle, if the resource allocation graph contains a cycle, there may or may not be the deadlock. Cycle असेल तर डेडलॉक असू शकतो किंवा नसू शकतो. Okay, so this is the example where cycle is there but deadlock is not there, and this is the example where cycle is there and deadlock is also there. So if you observe this example here, P1 requesting R1, R1 allocated to P2, P2 requesting R3, R3 allocated to P3, P3 requesting R2, R2 allocated to P1, and again P1 requesting R1. So this is the cycle. So this is the cycle: P1 to R1, R1 to P2, P2 to R3, R3 to P3, P3 to R2, R2 to P1. I hope you are listening carefully towards me. If you are observing, or if you are listening and observing, then only you are able to understand. So I request all of you, try to observe the cycle over here. So I will repeat the cycle: P1 to R1, R1 to P2, P2 to R3, R3 to P3, P3 to R2, R2 to P1. So this is the cycle. If you observe P1, R1, P2, R2 and P1, so over here there cycle is not there. So where the cycle is there: P1, R1, P2, R3, P3, R2 and P1. So this is the cycle, right? Yes, students. Are you listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now see over here, cycle is there. So property says that if there is cycle, there may or may not be the deadlock, and this is the example of resource allocation graph with cycle and with deadlock. We'll see how deadlock occurs. Okay, so if you see over here, P1 is requesting for R1, P1 is requesting for R1 and R1 is allocated to P2, राइट. R1 चे किती इन्स्टन्सेस आहेत? एकच इन्स्टन्स आहे. तो इन्स्टन्स कोणाला अलोकेट केलेला आहे? P2 ला अलोकेट केलेला आहे. सो P2 इज होल्डिंग R1 and P1 इज वेटिंग फॉर R1, राइट. P1 R1 साठी वेट करतोय, पण R1 कोणाकडे आहे? P2 कडे आहे. सो टू कंप्लीट P2 रिक्वायर्स R3 ऑल्सो. म्हणजे P2 ला जर त्याची स्वतःची ऑपरेशन एक्झिक्युशन जर कंप्लीट करायचं असेल P2 ला, तर P2 ला काय लागणार आहे? R3 पण लागणार आहे. सो P2 इज होल्डिंग R1 and requesting for R3, but R3 is allocated to P3. R3 कोणाकडे आहे? R3 ऑलरेडी P3 कडे आहे. R3 चा पण एकच इन्स्टन्स आहे आणि तो कोणाला अलोकेट केलेला आहे? P3 ला अलोकेट केलेला आहे. इट मीन्स P3 is holding R3 and P2 is requesting R3. In the sense, P2 is waiting for R3 and P2 is holding R1. म्हणजे P2 काय करतोय? R1 ला होल्ड केलाय, R1 ला धरलेला आहे आणि कोणासाठी वेट करतोय? R3 साठी वेट करतोय. P1 काय करतोय? P1 न R2 चा एक इन्स्टन्स हातात धरलेला आहे आणि तो R1 साठी वेट करतोय, राइट. सो P1 is waiting for P2 to release R1 and P2 is waiting for P3 to release R3, right. And again P3 is holding R3 and requesting for R2. But if you observe R2, so R2 is having two instances. One is allocated to P1 and another is allocated to P2. In the sense, P3 is waiting for both P1 as well as P2. P3 कोणासाठी वाट बघतोय? P1 आणि P2 साठी. एक तर P1 रिलीज करेल R2 ला किंवा P2 will release one of the instance of R2. And once one of the instance will be released by either P1 or P2, then only P3 is going for completion, right. Then only P3 is going for completion. In the sense, here P3 is also waiting for either P1 or P2. To whom P1 is waiting? P1 is waiting for P2. To whom P2 is waiting? P2 is waiting for P3. And in turn P3 is waiting for P1, P2. In the sense, everybody is waiting, holding few resources and waiting for some other resources, and these other resources are already held by other processes, and these other processes are also waiting for the other processes to release some of the resources. In the sense, nobody is going for completion, everybody is just waiting for each other, and this is nothing but the deadlock, right. Got the clear idea, students? Any doubt? Yes, any doubt? Hello, Yes, students, are you listening to me? Come on, nobody is responding. Okay, through messages you are responding. Okay, no doubt. So we'll proceed further. We'll see one more example. And in this example, we are observing resource allocation graph with a cycle but no deadlock. Okay, so second example we'll observe. This is the second example where resource allocation graph is shown, and in that graph, cycle is there, but deadlock will not occur. Okay, so we'll see how deadlock will not be there. So where is the cycle over here? So if you observe over here, cycle is P1 to R1, R1 to P3, P3 to R2, and R2 to P1. Right? So here cycle is there. Hello, Pradnya Ingre. Okay, so over here, cycle is there, but deadlock is not there. We'll see how. So if you see here, process P4 or process P2. जर तुम्ही प्रोसेस P2 किंवा प्रोसेस P4 ऑब्झर्व केला असेल तर P2 ला एकच इन्स्टन्स लागणार आहे, एकच रिसोर्स लागणार आहे, दॅट इज R1. And already its instance is allocated to P2, right? So what P2 will do, either P2, you may take the example of P2 or P4. P2 किंवा P4 काय करतील, त्यांना एकच रिसोर्स लागणार आहे. For example P2, so P2 requires only one resource of R1. So P2 will complete its operation, right? P2 ला एकच रिसोर्स लागणार आहे R1 आणि तो ऑलरेडी त्याच्याकडे दिलेला आहे, त्याला अलोकेट केलेलं आहे. सो व्हॉट P2 will do, P2 will go for execution. P2 च्या एक्झिक्युशन साठी काय लागणार आहे, त्याला एकच रिसोर्स लागणार आहे R1 आणि ऑलरेडी तो रिसोर्स त्याच्याकडे आहे. सो व्हॉट P2 will do, P2 will go for execution, and after complete execution P2 will release the resource R1. म्हणजे P2 काय करेल, पहिल्यांदा स्वतः कंप्लीट होईल आणि जो रिसोर्स त्याला अलोकेट केला होता तो रिलीज करेल. सो व्हॉट इज द बेसिक स्टेप्स फॉलोड बाय द प्रोसेस. प्रोसेस नॉर्मली ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टीम मध्ये काय करते, एखादा रिसोर्स पाहिजे असेल तर त्याला रिक्वेस्ट करते, जर फ्री असेल तर त्याला यूज करते आणि यूज झाल्यानंतर परत तो रिसोर्स रिलीज करते. सो रिक्वेस्ट, यूज, release. So these are the three steps followed by each and every process. So in the same fashion, P2 has requested for R1, R1 is free and R1 is allocated to P2 by the system. So P2 will go for execution and P2 will release the instance of resource R1. मग रिलीज केलेला इन्स्टन्स कोणाला मिळेल आता, P2 is over, right? So instance is released. So the released instance will be allocated to process P1 because P1 is requesting for one of the instance of R1, right? P1 request करतोय, so P1 is waiting for the instance. So what system will do, system will allocate that instance to process P1. So process P1 is already having one instance of R2 and it is requesting for R1. Now the released instance of R1 by P2 will be allocated to P1, and now P1 is having now two resources, one is R2 and another is R1. So P1 also goes for completion, right? P1 also goes for completion. So P1 will complete its execution and again releases the resource of R1 as well as R2, right? And after that, if you observe P3, so P3 already R1 is there with P3 and it is requesting for R2. So the resource released by P1 will be allocated to P3 and P3 will goes for completion. And already P4, as it requires only one resource, already it is there with P4, so it goes for completion. In the sense, nobody is waiting for each other, so everybody is going for completion. And that's why this is the example where this is the resource allocation graph where cycle is there but deadlock is not there. So hope you understood the concept. Aala lakshat? Yes, students. Okay, So it's my request to all of you, those who are attending, that if you are attending, unfortunately, so these are very, very basic concepts you should understand. So without these concepts, you are unable to understand the concepts of operating system. You are unable to understand your next subjects also. So in the second semester, Unix operating system is there. Again, in the final year, your management information system is there. So n number of operating systems you are going to handle during your lifetime. So if you understood these concepts, then only you are able to understand the future concepts. So if you are not getting it, you can ask to me, I will explain once again. So in this up till now, what we done? So we were talking about the point deadlock characterization, second point from the chapter. Under deadlock characterization, I said that 2 points are there. One is necessary conditions for deadlock and second is resource allocation graph. So first one we discussed in the last lecture. So there are 4 necessary conditions. म्हणजे डेडलॉक ऑकर होण्यासाठी 4 कंडिशन्स आहेत. त्या 4 कंडिशन पैकी एखादी जरी कंडिशन एक्झिस्ट किंवा ऑकर झाली सिस्टीम मध्ये, तर आपण म्हणू शकतो की सिस्टीम विल बी इन द डेडलॉक और few conditions may be there, 2 conditions or 3 or all 4 conditions may be there. So this is about 4 conditions, necessary conditions. First condition, mutual exclusion. Second, hold and wait. Third, no preemption. And last, circular wait. So these are the 4 necessary conditions for deadlock. And then today we discussed about a resource allocation graph. And under resource allocation graph, I discussed the basic concept of resource allocation graph. So how you will define resource allocation graph? So resource allocation graph, it is the pictorial representation or graphical representation of deadlock situation. Okay, so situation will be given, and from this situation you have to, description of that situation will be given, and from the description you have to draw the resource allocation graph, and further you have to observe the cycle, whether that graph contains cycle or not. So if the cycle is there, there may or may not be the deadlock. The cycle नसेल, no doubt त्या सिस्टीम मध्ये डेडलॉक नसणार आहे, पण जर सायकल असेल तर तिथे फ्युचर मध्ये डेडलॉक होऊ शकतो किंवा होऊ शकत नाही. सो लाईक दॅट वी डिस्कस 2 डायग्राम्स वेअर cycle is there but deadlock is not there, and again second example, cycle is there and deadlock but deadlock is not there. Okay, so cycle is there with a deadlock, cycle is there and deadlock is also there, and here cycle is there but no deadlock. So like the 2 examples we discussed. So if anybody is having doubt, they can ask, otherwise you can just note it down. Okay, so this is the point, deadlock characterization. Under that, necessary conditions which might be written in the last lecture. So once again I'm just showing in front of you. So write this line: a deadlock situation can arise if if the following 4 conditions hold simultaneously in a system. So this is the most important statement. Deadlock situation can arise if the following 4 conditions hold simultaneously in a system. So meaning of simultaneously, it's not at the same time. So once one condition may occur once, next condition may occurs after some time, like that onwards. So note it down. Okay, mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, just write the conditions. Circular wait, in the last lecture we discussed about these 4 conditions. Then write a resource allocation graph. Draw this graph. Draw this graph. Below that, you can describe this graph. So here I said that at the upper side where I have written R2, so it's not R2, it's R3. वरच्या साईडला जे काही दोन रिसोर्सेस दाखवलेले आहेत मी R1 आणि R2, तर तो R2 नाहीये, तो R3 आहे. सो करेक्ट इट. Hope everybody is noting it down. So only 57 students, not 57 also. 56 students are attending the lecture from both division. These students, you can convey the message to your friends, those who are absent. So the core subject, you should attend it sincerely. It's very simple subject, but it is a basic subject. So you need to clear the concepts. Draw the resource allocation graph. This is the sample example of resource allocation graph. Normally, while we are drawing the resource allocation graph, so we should keep the processes at center, and beside the processes, we should keep the resources. जेव्हा आपण रिसोर्स अलोकेशन ग्राफ ड्रॉ करतो त्यावेळेस नॉर्मली प्रोसेसेस सेंटरला दाखवायच्या आणि रिसोर्सेस त्याच्या बाजूला दाखवायचे. Is it over? Yes. Hello. Are you writing? Come on, students. Are you writing it? Only Rahul is responding every now and then from boys and few from girls. Vedangi, Chinmay is also responding. Rutuja. Very few students are responding. Okay. So write the description of it. The resource allocation graph shown in above figure depicts the following situation: the set of processes, resources, and ages. Write down the ages also over here. Write down the resource allocation graph shown in figure depicts following situation. The set PRE, P stands for set of processes, R stands for set of resources, E stands for set of ages. Okay. So resource instances, one instance of R1, two of R2, one of R3, three of R4. So this is the again a description of few ages. Process P1 is holding an instance of resource type R2 and is waiting for an instance of resource type R1. Process P2 is holding an instance of R1 and instance of R2, holding an instance of R1 and instance of R2 and is waiting for an instance of R3. Process P3 is holding an instance of R3. And write down the important property of this resource allocation graph. If the graph contains no cycles, then no process in the system is deadlocked. जर ग्राफ मध्ये सायकल नसेल तर कुठलीच प्रोसेस डेडलॉक मध्ये जात नाही. If the graph does contain a cycle, then there may exist deadlock. There may exist deadlock. If resource allocation graph does not contain cycle, then no process in the system is deadlocked. If the graph does contain a cycle, then deadlock may exist. This is the important property of deadlock. Now draw this diagram. So this is resource allocation graph with a deadlock. Resource allocation graph with cycle and with deadlock. This is the resource allocation graph with cycle and with a deadlock. Is it over? Yes, students, is it over? Yes. Yes, students, is it over? Draw the diagram. Actually, same diagram is there. This is the resource allocation graph having cycle with deadlock. Okay. For the second diagram, resource allocation graph with a cycle but no deadlock. It is having cycle but there is no deadlock. Over. Over. Okay. Okay. So these are the 2 points which we discussed under the second point from the syllabus, that is deadlock characterization. So first point is necessary conditions for deadlock and second point is resource allocation graph. Okay, so now we'll go further to the third point from the syllabus, and third point is methods for handling deadlocks. Okay, so methods for handling deadlock. So generally speaking, we can deal with the deadlock problem in one of three ways. Normally in the system, so this deadlock problem is handled in three ways. So we can use a protocol to prevent or avoid deadlocks, ensuring that the system will not enter a deadlock state. एक तर आपण डेडलॉक स्टेट मध्ये सिस्टीम जायच्या अगोदर तिला आपण प्रिव्हेंट करू शकतो किंवा अवॉइड करू शकतो. सो दिस इज वन वे. So either we can prevent or avoid before going to that state. Second, we can allow the system to enter a deadlock state and detect it and recover. Second, जर आपण अवॉइड करू शकत नसेल किंवा प्रिव्हेंट करू शकत नसेल तर त्या केस मध्ये आपल्याला काय करायला लागेल. सो वी नीड टू अलाउ द सिस्टम to go into the deadlock state, and after going into the deadlock state we need to detect the deadlock and then we have to apply the recovery concept. So recovering the deadlock. And third one, we can ignore the problem altogether, pretend that deadlocks never occur in the system. Normally so few systems are there where very few times, or you may say that very rarely deadlocks occurs, mostly open source system, Unix, etc., Linux. So we can ignore the problem altogether, pretend that deadlocks never occur in the system. So we need to design the system. Nowadays very number of systems are coming into existence. So different versions are coming with respect to open source who are not facing the problem of deadlock. So like that, these are the three ways. So either we can prevent or avoid the deadlock. So that is these methods we need to apply before this system goes into the deadlock state. If we are unable to prevent and avoid, so in that case we need to allow to go to the deadlock state, and after that we need to detect and recover it, and last we need to ignore it. According to these three ways, so we are discussing now total 4 methods which is given again in the syllabus. We are discussing about, so under this point actually the next points are coming. So under methods for handling deadlock, so first method is deadlock prevention, second method is deadlock avoidance, third is deadlock detection, and fourth is recovery from deadlock. So total 4 methods we are discussing. We'll see one by one. So first one, deadlock prevention. So if you observe these 4 methods, here are 4 methods तुम्ही observe केला, then you will understand actually these 2 methods, that is deadlock prevention and deadlock avoidance. So these 2 methods are applied before occurrence of the deadlock situation. म्हणजे deadlock situation occur व्हायच्या अगोदर ह्या 2 मेथड आपण अप्लाय करू शकतो. And once deadlock occurs, so we are able to apply remaining 2, right? डेडलॉक जर आपल्याला अवॉइड करायचं असेल किंवा होऊ द्यायचं नसेल तर पहिल्या दोन मेथड अप्लाय करायचे आपल्याला, प्रिव्हेन्शन आणि अवॉइडन्स. आणि जर ऑकरच झालाच असेल सिस्टीम मध्ये, तर त्या केसमध्ये आपल्याला डिटेक्शन आणि रिकव्हरी. So in short, first two methods are applicable before occurrence of the situation, and next two methods are applicable after occurrence of the deadlock situation. Right? Deadlock situation झाल्यानंतर आपण deadlock prevention किंवा avoidance अप्लाय करू शकत नाही. Right? And we can't apply detection and recovery. जर डेडलॉक झालाच नसेल तर त्या केसमध्ये आपण डिटेक्शन आणि रिकव्हरी अप्लाय करू शकत नाही. सो इन दॅट केस वी कंपल्सरीली वी नीड टू अप्लाय प्रिव्हेन्शन अँड अवॉइडन्स. So like that, two are applicable before occurrence and two are applicable after occurrence of the deadlock situation. So we'll see one by one. So first one, actually, if you observe first two methods, deadlock prevention and deadlock avoidance. Only the difference is that first method is having the word prevention and second method is having the word avoidance. And so generally तुम्ही prevention आणि avoidance या दोन्ही शब्दाचा meaning जर बघायला गेलात, so almost it is same, right? It's same, but the difference is that in case of prevention we are using the protocols and in case of avoidance we are using algorithms. जे दोन्ही मध्ये आपण अवॉइड करायचाच प्रयत्न करतोय, प्रिव्हेंट करायचाच प्रयत्न करतोय, पण या दोन मेथड मध्ये फरक काय? तर पहिल्या मेथड मध्ये म्हणजे डेडलॉक प्रिव्हेन्शन मध्ये आपण काय करणार आहोत? वी आर टेकिंग द हेल्प ऑफ प्रोटोकॉल्स. Chosen by protocols, so these are the standard rules and regulations which are already defined. So we are taking the help of such rules, such protocols, and we are trying to prevent. And in case of deadlock avoidance, so we are taking the help of algorithms, right? So we'll see one by one. So first one, deadlock prevention. So I said that in prevention we are taking the help of some of the protocols. So we'll see, for a deadlock to occur, each of the four necessary condition must hold. आपण आत्ताच बघितलं, जर डेडलॉक ऑकर होणार असेल सिस्टीम मध्ये तर कुठल्या कंडिशन असतात सिस्टीम मध्ये. सो फोर नेसेसरी कंडिशन्स वी डिस्कस्ड, अँड आउट ऑफ दॅट इफ आयदर कंडिशन is going to occur, so how can we avoid that condition, right? So we are focusing on these conditions in case of prevention. So how can we avoid mutual exclusion? How can we avoid hold and wait? How can we avoid no preemption? How can we avoid circular wait? म्हणजे एखादी कंडिशन एखाद्या कंडिशन मुळे जर डेडलॉक ऑकर होत असेल तर ती कंडिशन होऊ द्यायची नाहीये आपल्याला. So how to avoid? So for that, per condition we are using separate protocols. So by ensuring that at least one of these conditions cannot hold, we can prevent the occurrence of the deadlock. So we elaborate on this approach by examination of each of the four necessary conditions separately. Okay. So first of all, we'll see first condition. First condition is mutual exclusion. So what is mutual exclusion? So when one process is in its critical section, don't allow other processes to enter their critical section, assuming that all these processes are cooperating processes, right? या सगळ्या प्रोसेसेस कोऑपरेटिंग प्रोसेसेस आहेत असं अज्युम करून आपण जर एखाद्या प्रोसेसला त्याच्या क्रिटिकल सेक्शन मध्ये एंटर व्हायला अलाउ केलं असेल तर बाकीच्या प्रोसेसेसना आपण त्यांच्या क्रिटिकल सेक्शन मध्ये जायला अलाउ करत नाही. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज अ म्युच्युअल एक्सक्लुजन. But again, so though it is the mutual exclusion, so in some cases we should not apply mutual exclusion. In other cases we can apply. So where to apply and where to not apply? So mutual exclusion condition must hold non-shareable resources. म्हणजे म्युच्युअल एक्सक्लुजन कंडिशन कुठल्या रिसोर्सेस वर अप्लाय करायला पाहिजे? नॉन शेअरेबल. फॉर एक्झाम्पल प्रिंटर असेल तर ऍट अ टाइम प्रिंटर आपण एकापेक्षा जास्त प्रोसेसला असाइन करू शकत नाही. जर प्रिंटर प्रोसेस P1 ला असाइन केला असेल तर P2 ला बाय डिफॉल्ट वेटच करायला लागतं, राईट? So P2 have to wait. If it is assigned to P2, P1 have to wait. Like that, it is called as a non-shareable. जो रिसोर्स आपण शेअर करू शकत नाही ऍट अ टाइमला, so in that case it is okay, you can apply the mutual exclusion. But the shareable resources, जर एखादा रिसोर्स शेअरेबल असेल, so in that case don't apply mutual exclusion. So we'll take the simple example. एखादी फाईल आहे आणि जर सपोज 2 रीडर्स असतील तर असं म्हणणार आहे का आपण एका रीडरला तू आत्ता रीड कर आणि दुसऱ्या रीडरला थोड्या वेळानंतर रीड कर? नो. इफ द फाईल इज रीडेबल, so both the readers they are able to read the file at the same time, right? So both the readers or n readers they are able to read the file at the same time because they are the readers. So shareable resource in contrast do not require mutual exclusive access, thus cannot be involved in the deadlock. जर आपण shareable resource वर mutual exclusion apply केलं तर काय होईल? There may be the deadlock. For example, जर n readers असतील आणि या n readersला एकच फाईल रीड करायची असेल आणि जर आपण mutual exclusion apply केलं तर काय होईल? Assume that these n readers are nothing but these n students. Right now you are attending my lecture and one that PDF file I shared, it is I am also looking towards that file. You are also able to read that file and I am also able to read that file. Right? जर मी असं म्हटलं नाही एका वेळेस एका स्टुडंटने ती फाईल रीड करायची. So what about other students? Unnecessarily they will wait. Right? They will be going to wait. So here the strength is almost 62. जर मी सिक्वेन्स अप्लाय केला तर पहिला स्टुडंट लगेच रीड करेल. So the first student may not be able to wait. But if I take the example of last student, 62nd student, so that student have to wait unnecessarily because I applied the mutual exclusion. Right? So if 62nd or 61st student or 60th student, so if they are waiting, so they have to wait for 60 students, they have to wait for 61 students, they have to wait for 59 students. So this is too much waiting time, or you may say that this is the infinite waiting time according to you people, because it totally depends upon that reader. So first reader may read the file within 1 second, second reader may requires 1 minute or 4 minutes or 5 minutes. It depends upon the reader, right? And depending upon that, waiting time of the last process will be calculated. And next processes, they have to wait unnecessarily because the mutual exclusion is applied on shareable resources. म्हणजे थोडक्यात जर आपण shareable resource वर mutual exclusion apply केलं तर डेडलॉक होतो. म्हणून so what type of protocol we need to use? पण एखादा रूल सेट करायला पाहिजे. So the rule is nothing but apply mutual exclusion on non-shareable resources. Don't apply it on shareable resources. Non-shareable resources साठी mutual exclusion गरजेचं आहे. पण जर shareable resource वर आपण mutual exclusion apply केलं, so there will be the deadlock. Right? So the rule is apply mutual exclusion on non-shareable resources. Don't apply it on shareable resources. If we use this rule, so we can say that we are able to avoid or we are able to prevent the deadlock. Yes, students, are you getting my point? Yes, are you listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so where to apply mutual exclusion? The resources non-shareable असतील तरच mutual exclusion apply करा. The resources shareable असतील, so don't apply the mutual exclusion. So this is about first protocol, first rule which we need to apply to prevent mutual exclusion or to prevent the deadlock due to mutual exclusion. Right? Second one, if you are understanding, you can say yes, otherwise we'll repeat. These are some of the difficult concepts to understand. एक जण म्हणते की म्युच्युअल एक्सक्लुजन अप्लाय करायला पाहिजे, पण कुठे अप्लाय करायला पाहिजे? फक्त नॉन शेअरेबल रिसोर्सेसवर. जर आपण अननेसेसरीली म्युच्युअल एक्सक्लुजन शेअरेबल रिसोर्सवर अप्लाय केलं तर डेडलॉक होऊ शकतो. So this is one of the protocol which we are using in case of mutual exclusion. Second, hold and wait. ही कंडिशन आपण कशी प्रिव्हेंट करू शकतो? So to ensure that the hold and wait condition never occur in the system, we must guarantee that whenever a process requests a resource, it does not hold any other resources. थोडक्यात प्रोटोकॉल काय सांगतोय किंवा रूल कसा असायला पाहिजे? जर बाबा तुला एक्झिक्यूट व्हायचं असेल तर तू रिसोर्सेस रिक्वेस्ट कर, पण जर सगळेच रिसोर्सेस रिक्वेस्ट केलेले रिसोर्सेस फ्री असतील तरच तू सगळे होल्ड कर आणि एक्झिक्युशनला जा. जर तू रिसोर्सेस तू रिक्वेस्ट करत असेल आणि त्याच्यातला एक फ्री असेल आणि दुसरा बिझी असेल तर त्या केसमध्ये तू रिसोर्सेस होल्ड करू नको. ओके, इट मीन्स इफ द रिसोर्सेस आर फ्री, whatever resources process request or wants for execution, so if all the resources are free, then only process can hold the resources and go for execution. Otherwise, don't hold any of the resources. म्हणजे एक रिसोर्स घ्यायचा आणि दुसऱ्या रिसोर्स साठी वेट करत बसायचं, असं कधी करायला नकोय. जर दोन्ही रिसोर्सेस फ्री असतील तर दोन्ही पण होल्ड कर आणि तुझी ऑपरेशन कंप्लीट कर अँड रिलीज ऑल द रिसोर्सेस. So one protocol that can be used requires each process to request and be allocated all its resources before it begins execution. एखादी प्रोसेस जर एक्झिक्युशन सुरू करणार असेल तर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टीमने काय करायला पाहिजे, त्याला लागणारे सगळे रिसोर्सेस त्याला देऊन टाकायला पाहिजे. अदरवाइज जस्ट अलाउ दॅट प्रोसेस टू वेट. जर सगळे रिसोर्सेस अवेलेबल नसतील तर त्या प्रोसेसला ओएस ने सांगितलं पाहिजे की तुला लागणारे रिसोर्सेस सगळे सध्या अवेलेबल नाहीये, सो यू कॅन जस्ट वेट, डोंट होल्ड एनी ऑफ द रिसोर्स. So once all the required resources are becoming free, I will give all these resources to you and you can start the execution. So like that, this is the protocol. Or an alternative protocol allows a process to request resources only when it has none. जर त्याच्याकडे काहीच नसतील तरच तू रिक्वेस्ट कर, right? A process may request some resources and use them before it can request any additional resources. However, it must release all the resources that it is currently allocated. जर प्रोसेसला एक्झिक्युशनला जायचं असेल तर सगळेच रिसोर्सेस त्याला मिळायला पाहिजे. जर सगळे रिसोर्सेस मिळत असतील तरच प्रोसेसनं एक्झिक्युशन स्टार्ट करायला पाहिजे. जर सगळेच काही रिसोर्सेस मिळत असतील आणि काही मिळत नसतील तर त्या केसमध्ये प्रोसेसनं कुठलेच रिसोर्सेस होल्ड करायचे नाहीत. सो जस्ट प्रोसेस हॅव टू वेट फॉर ऑल द रिसोर्सेस, राईट? सो दिस इज द कंडिशन. इफ दिस कंडिशन इज फॉलोड इन द सिस्टीम, सो वी आर एबल टू प्रिव्हेंट होल्ड अँड वेट, राईट? फॉर एक्झाम्पल, दोन स्टुडंट असतील आणि जर सपोज एक पेन आणि एक नोटबुक असेल आणि हे दोघही दोन स्टुडंटला जर रायटिंग करायचं असेल तर मी काय कंडिशन अप्लाय करायला पाहिजे? किती रिसोर्सेस आहेत? दोनच आहेत, म्हणजे एकच पेन आणि एकच नोटबुक आहे. जर मला दोघांना सांगायचे की तुम्हाला काहीतरी लिहायचंय नोटबुक मध्ये, पण नोटबुक पण एकच आहे आणि पेन पण एकच आहे, सो इन दॅट केस एकानं पेन घ्यायचं आणि दुसऱ्यानं नोटबुक घ्यायचं असं नसायला पाहिजे. जर एकाला पहिल्याला जर मी दोन्ही रिसोर्सेस दिले तर दुसऱ्याला मी सांगणार आहे की यू हॅव टू वेट. जर मी दुसऱ्याला दोन्ही रिसोर्सेस दिले असेल तर आय विल टेल टू द फर्स्ट वन यू हॅव टू वेट. सो लाईक दॅट. म्हणजे त्यांनी एकाने एक रिसोर्स होल्ड करून दुसऱ्यासाठी रिक्वेस्ट नाही करायचं. जर दोन्ही पण फ्री असतील तरच दोन्ही मागायचे, अदरवाइज जस्ट यू हॅव टू वेट. So this is the condition applied by the operating system to prevent the second condition, hold and wait, so that deadlock is prevented. Third condition, actually in this case, in the second condition, both these protocols have two main disadvantages. Resource utilization may be low or starvation may be there. म्हणजे ह्या केस मध्ये काय होते, होल्ड अँड वेट आपण अवॉइड करायला गेलं तर मोस्टली वी आर फेसिंग दीज टू ड्रॉबॅक्स. सो रिसोर्स युटिलायझेशन मे बी लो. ऍक्च्युअली रिसोर्स फ्री आहे पण तो यूज होत नाहीये, त्यामुळं युटिलायझेशन मे बी लो और स्टार्वेशन मे ऑफर्स. कारण आपण सांगतोय की पहिल्या प्रोसेसला एक्झिक्यूट व्हायला सांगतोय आणि दुसऱ्या प्रोसेसला वेट करायला सांगतोय. So second process may be in the waiting state for long amount of time, or remaining processes may be in the waiting state for long amount of time. So this is called as starvation. So very rarely these conditions are going to occur. Next, no preemption. So third necessary condition for deadlocks is that there will be no preemption of resources that have already been allocated. To ensure that this condition does not hold, we can use the following protocol. If a process is holding some resources and requesting another resources that cannot be immediately allocated to it, then all resources currently being held are preempted. काय सांगितलं याच्यामध्ये, एखादी प्रोसेस काही रिसोर्सेस होल्ड केलेली असेल आणि कोणासाठी वेट करतेय, दुसऱ्या काही रिसोर्सेस साठी जर वेट करत असेल आणि त्या ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टीमला माहितीये की ती ज्याच्यासाठी वेट करणार आहे ते काही रिसोर्स लवकर रिलीज होणार नाहीये, तर त्या केसमध्ये what operating system should do, so allow that process to release all the resources, preempt all the resources. जे काही तू घेऊन धरून बसलेले आहेत ते पण रिलीज कर, का तर तू ज्याच्यासाठी वेट करणार आहे तो रिसोर्स लगेच तुला मिळणार नाहीये, याच्यासाठी थोडासा वेळ लागणार आहे. So what operating system will do to that process, it will says to that process release whatever you are holding. So that is called as a resource preemption. So resource is preempted, it is preempted from that process. So this is the protocol. If process is holding some resources and requesting another resources that cannot be immediately allocated to it, So in that case, that is the process must wait, then all resources currently being held are preempted. So how these are preempted? Through operating system. So through operating system, so signal will be given to the process to release all the resources. So this is the protocol which is used to avoid no preemption condition. जर असं ओएस करत नसेल तर त्या केसमध्ये काय होईल, अननेसेसरीली प्रोसेस इन्फिनाइट वेटिंग स्टेट मध्ये जाईल. सो ड्यू टू विच डेडलॉक मे बी देयर. So like that we can avoid it. So this is about third condition. And the fourth condition, circular wait. So by changing the order, we can prevent the circular wait. So this circular wait, P1 is waiting for P2, P2 is waiting for P3, P3 is waiting for P4, P4 is waiting in turn to P1. जर अशी जर ऑर्डर असेल तर त्याच्या ऐवजी, so if we are changing the order, so we may avoid the circular wait, right? So these are the four protocols which we are using to avoid these four necessary conditions for deadlock. So this is about deadlock prevention. Anybody having doubt? Yes, students. डेडलॉक प्रिव्हेन्शन मध्ये थोडक्यात आपण काय वापरलेले आहेत, प्रोटोकॉल वापरलेले आहेत. तर प्रत्येक कंडिशन, त्या कंडिशन मुळे डेडलॉक होतोय. सो हाऊ टू अवॉइड, हाऊ टू प्रिव्हेंट दॅट कंडिशन. सो वी आर टेकिंग द हेल्प ऑफ प्रोटोकॉल्स with the help of which we are avoiding that condition, we are preventing that condition. Okay, so this is about deadlock prevention. Note it down. I think okay, so write down this main point from the syllabus: methods for handling deadlock. Methods for handling deadlock. So my request to all of you, note it down. It is better for you. It is useful for you only. Note it down. Point: methods for handling deadlock. Okay, note it down. So these are the three methods. Either we can prevent or avoid, or we can detect and recover, and third one we can ignore. Okay, then you can note it down. First method, deadlock prevention. Deadlock prevention. Note the points. Write down the first condition, mutual exclusion. So in short, apply mutual exclusion on non-shareable resources. Don't apply it on shareable resources. Am I audible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So whether the screen is visible?
No, ma'am.
Actually, get disconnected. Okay. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
over. Have you written regarding mutual exclusion? I told that mutual exclusion should be applied on non-shareable resources. It should not be applied on shareable resources. So this is the protocol. Second one, hold and wait. So actually, two protocols are described over here. One protocol that can be used to require each process to request and be allocated all its resources before it begins execution. एखाद्या प्रोसेसला एक्झिक्युशन सुरू करायचं असेल तर त्याच्याकडे सगळे रिसोर्सेस असणं गरजेचं आहे. Then only that process is able to start execution. Alternative protocol, you just write the protocols. Hold and wait. Alternate protocol allow the process to request resources only when it has none. Process may request some resources and use them before it can request any additional resources.